So, Minimax final number 1 of 4. Jaden Thien is on pole position. And then it is a Dutch front row with Tim Gerhards in the number 50, the current points leader, alongside for company. Enzo Bol and Nick Gerhards round out row number 2, ahead of Matthias van Goethum. Teun Schmidt, who completes row number 3. Then we have Jens van der Eyden, Ralph van der Pevert, Jules van Huel, and Annabelle Brian. So a very hefty contingency of Dutch drivers, with a few Belgians thrown into the mix as well. So your guess is as good as mine. What is going to happen in this particular encounter? So we now go on to our formation lap. So towards the end of it, it will be the case of Jaden Thien and Tim Gerhards that will have to control the pace, as they will start slowing down, I would imagine, around about sort of turn 9. So with all, for those not that are watching on the live stream from home, wherever you're on the world, thank you very much for tuning in. Every single category will have a 2x2 rolling start formation, which is customary in Rotax racing circles, and here in the BNL karting series it is no different. So the order is as follows: Thien on pole ahead of Tim Gerhards in the 50, the 155 of Enzo Bol and the number 60 of Nick Gerhards line up on row 2. Matthias van Goethum in the 145 and Teun Schmidt in the 166, row 3. Jens van der Eyden in the 151, Ralph van der Pevert in the 168, Jules van Huel in the 121, and Annabelle Brian in the 123, round out all 10 competitors. And the red lights are now on the starting gantry here at Karting des Fagnes. 10 minutes on the clock. Drivers are sealing themselves, and they're ready, and they're in the zone to go racing. So, on the left of your screen, Jaden Thien on pole, Tim Gerhards alongside. The Rotax engines roar into life. And do we go lights out? Yes, we do. It's going to be, I'm hoping it's going to be clean this time. Oh, well, that's very, very close indeed. And someone has dropped way down the order, right to the very back, as well, a bit of debris off one of the carts has just flown off on the outside of turn number 2. Now, the driver that dropped down, I think... Now, there is one exhaust sounding very, very loud there, I think, from my... Yeah, that looks to be an exhaust silencer or bracket that might have come off. So someone will be pulled in for a mechanical, and their race will be ended rather abruptly. So that will bring us down to 9 competitors. Yep, there's definitely one that is clearly breaching noise regulations there. So we'll find out who's leading, as the leader, whoever that is, and is that Jaden Thien that is leading, as there is a change for second. Someone's gone wide. That is Enzo Bol, I believe, who was in second, now drops down to 4th position, as the Gerhards working together in second and third. That is Tim, followed by Nick. So you've got Enzo Bol, Teun Schmidt trying to go up the inside of the 155 through turn 2. Was there the slightest amount of contact? I'm not sure, but there is a mechanical black flag being readied, as Enzo Bol is dicing with Teun Schmidt over what is 4th position. And looks like it is going to be Matthias van Goethum, I think, that will get the mechanical black flag. That is the case. It's now been brandished on the start-finish line, so Matthias van Goethum will have to park it, unfortunately. So the Belgian driver will be out, having started from 5th position. 8 minutes and 15, plus an additional lap to go here in this first Mini-Max final of the weekend. So did the exhaust silencer come off as a result of contact? Now Van Goethum will see it and probably be rather dejected. So at the moment, the lead is definitely well being consolidated by Jaden Thien, who's got nearly a second in his back pocket over Tim Gerhards, the current points leader. Nick Gerhards rounds out the top 3, whereas Enzo Bol and Teun Schmidt were battling over 4th and 5th position, respectively. But Boll seems to have got the jump on Schmidt for 4th place. So leaders coming around to complete another lap, and Jaden Thien streaking away into the distance. And it's now to the tune of 1.2 seconds. And Jaden Thien just did a 59.649. Looks to be the fastest lap of this race. And Matthias van Gotham has done the right thing and has parked the 145. So we're now down to 9 competitors, as Jens van der Heijden has got past Ralph van der Bevert for 6th position. So 6 minutes and 9 seconds plus an additional lap to go. Thien continues to lead. Tim Gerhard's in second. The gap is starting to open up a bit more now, and it's gone from 1.2 to 1.296. The gap between Tim and Nick Gerhard's is about 0.8 of a second. A little bit further back is Enzo Boll, who actually on that last lap was not, last time around was not quicker than Nick Gerhard. So the 155, who was last year's BNL Golden Trophy runner-up in this class, trying to get some momentum going to try and catch up with Nick Gerhards, but doesn't really have anybody to work with at the moment. A little bit further back, Teun Schmidt is 5th, ahead of Jens van der Heijden in the 151. Ralph van der Bevert, Annabel Brian and Jules van Hul round out the 9 strong, with Matthias van Gotham having to end his race early due to a mechanical black flag due to an exhaust issue. And Thien is just motoring along on cruise control, takes a very, very comfortable glance over the right shoulder to see where Tim Gerhards is in relation to his current position. Hang on a second, but we've had a change here. This is really going to change things, because both Tim and Nick Gerhards have exceeded track limits with 2 wheels out of the corridor, and they've both got a 3-second time penalty. Yeah. If you hear a little bit whoa, another time penalty has been issued, but this time it's Annabelle Brian who's just got a 5-second time penalty for completely leaving the track. So race control will look for track limits. So both Nick and Tim Gerhards have both been penalised. This is going to promote Enzo Boll up into now. Tim Gerhards on basis of this will go 5th. Nick Gerhards will go 6th. So they will drop a few positions as a result of their respective 3-second time penalties for exceeding track limits by 2 wheels out of the corridor. So they do have to watch it when it comes to track limits and exiting corners. So Jaden Thien continues to lead, 3 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock, plus an additional lap to go. And the gap now between Jaden Thien and Tim Gerhards is about 1.7 seconds. Now, if Tim and Nick start working together and try and get a bit further up the road, away from Enzo Boll and Teun Schmidt, I think Nick Gerhards needs to get at least another 1.1 seconds on Teun Schmidt. And Tim Gerhards needs to get at least another, probably by my reckoning, another 1.3 seconds ahead, further ahead of Enzo Boll. So Enzo Boll is now 3.7 seconds off of the leader, but is only just under 2 seconds off of Tim Gerhards. Meanwhile, Nick Gerhards is 3.2 seconds off of the leader. Jens van der Heijden is 5.5 seconds off the leader. That is a differential of 2.3 seconds. So it's been a very, very comfortable Saturday morning drive for Jaden Thien at the moment. So the 107 is moving away and doing a very, very good job. So Thien comes across the start-finish line to complete lap number 8 here. 2 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. And the gap now is extended between first and second position to 1.9 seconds. So Tim Gerhards is now 1.9 seconds behind Jaden Thien. Enzo Bol is 4.1 seconds behind the current leader. So there's still about 8 tenths, or just over 8 tenths of a second, that Tim Gerhards needs to make up to keep ahead of Enzo Bol. Nick Gerhards, in the meantime, has about the same amount of time he needs to gather, around about 7 tenths, over Jens van der Heijden from the Netherlands to secure his place. So if the two Gerhards start working together, now if they are split apart, which they are, that appears to be the case, because Enzo Bol is closing on Nick Gerhards for third, even though there is that time penalty. Less than 60 seconds to go on the clock, and Enzo Bol is now, well, the lead's now extended to 2.159 seconds between Jaden Thien, who's now going through turn 4, as does Tim Gerhards, and it's definitely elbows out for third place, even though it's not going to be where they're ending up at the end of this race, because Enzo Bol has clearly got the fire lit in the belly. 30 seconds on the clock, and he's trying to go past Nick Gerhards for position. So Tim Gerhards has a gap. Now this battling between these two could actually help Tim Gerhards to still keep second position, as Jaden Thien comes towards the chicane. So 9, 8, 7, 6. Crosses the start-finish line with 5 to go. So it's going to be this plus an additional lap, as the timer has now expired. So I think now that this battle between Enzo Bol and Nick Gerhards really intensified, that has allowed Tim Gerhards, despite a 3-second penalty, I think, to secure second position. So running order is Jaden Thien leading from Tim Gerhards by 2.4 seconds. Then it's a further 3 seconds back to Nick Gerhards. Enzo Bol in 4th. Jens van der Heijden in 5th. Obviously, we have to consider that Tim and Nick Gerhards both have 3-second penalties. So final lap board being shown to Jaden Thien, who now has a clear gap of 2.6 seconds over Tim Gerhards as the 107 goes through turn number 2. Then it's a further 3.2 seconds. Now, just based on aggregate, Tim Gerhards, I think, has done enough. It's really pulled away from Nick and also Enzo Bol. So it's been very interesting, as we've got a nice little battle here. Now, this is Annabelle Brian and Jules van is that Jules van Huel? Yes, it is. Battling over the scraps of 8th and 9th position, but Annabelle will finish in 9th because of a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits with all 4 wheels. But the checkered flag is being prepared. And here comes the 107 from the Netherlands, Jaden Thien, who takes a well-deserved victory. Tim Gerhards takes second. And I have to say that Tim Gerhards did do enough to fend off Enzo Bol in the end. Or did he? Now that's very interesting, because Tim Gerhards finished was 5.7 seconds behind Jaden Thien, but I think did enough, because the gap would have been 3.9 seconds between the 50 and the 155 for second and third. So Jaden Thien opens up the scoring banks here at Mariembourg in Minimax winning by a comfortable 5.7 seconds, taking into account a 3-second penalty for Tim Gerhards for exceeding track limits by 2 wheels. Enzo Boll rounds out the top 3, and based on aggregate through the time penalty issued to Nick Gerhards, who drops down the order down to 6th. Boll takes it by 9 tenths. Jens van der Eyden in 4th, ahead of Tern Schmidt. Nick Gerhards, Ralf van der Pevert, Jules van Hoel and Annabelle Brian rounding out the 9th strong, with Matthias van Gotham having a very, very rough sounding exhaust that put him out of the race on lap number 2.